That's an extraordinary observation. But there's a little confession for you right now. I actually find her quite sexy.
Oh.
No, I am. I'm quite turned on by Sarah Palin. Let me explain why. I think she looks a bit like... I'm trying to figure out why, and I realise she looks like a businesswoman in a porn film who any moment is going to take her hair down and take off her glasses and unbutton that kind of tightly zipped jacket and get down to something filthy. And I think I genuinely... Every time I see her on there, I can't listen to her excellent policies. Because I'm just got all kinds of fantasies going on. But is there still big news over here, Dan?
Well, I believe so. It's probably less so over in the Middle East, but
Sure.
I think everyone is a little bit astounded by what it is.
Absolutely remarkable. But
So I sort of agree with you about her, by the way.
if there's one nation that's going to make the right decision, it's America.
Yeah.
So we'll wait and see. We'll bring you all the news on 6 Music. Let's have a musical choice from Sammy.
What with not having a steady flow of new music and starting a new job and university, I haven't had a chance to get my claws around some fresh music. So this is something that came out earlier in the year and I really wanted to play back then. Unfortunately, a little unfashionable. So I've thought I'm going to brave it and play Clarion by the Guillemots.
Thank you very much. We'll have live music from the week that was after Clarion Guillemots. Difficult to say. Sammy's musical choice on this week's Steve Show. Explain yourself.
I can only apologise that that's a radio edit because it is actually much longer on the album, but it's still brilliant. That was Clarion by Guillemots and it's off their most recent album, Red.
Thank you very much indeed. Please welcome with a round of applause the week that was. Now, obviously, this or tension, we've got Peter Brewis, who I understand as being the week that was. Your brother David is here as well. You were formerly in a band together, Field Music. Is there a sort of friction, a tension? I don't know. That band's no longer with us, or is it still with us? Just please explain everything.
I don't know, really. We haven't really decided.
Explain,
We haven't really decided what to do. I'm just the boss of the week that was, really.
You're the
I'm not-
boss,
Yeah.
right? But there's no awkwardness between. There's no tension. You've not, because I know the brothers, the Gallaghers. There's a lot of tension, and
Not.
this
not
could be a
really.
great opportunity, guys, to have it out if there is a lot of underlying and unspoken tension. This is a great forum for it.
We generally keep
Fight,
unspoken,
fight,
really.
fight.
Stitch that.
So it's the week that was, and that's sort of your baby then, Peter.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah.
But you've got members of Field Music with you playing on the album.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Sorry, there clearly is a tension. They just don't want to talk about it, I can tell. But no, the album is... I've not heard the whole album because I've been away, but I've heard... embarrassingly, I've heard the 3 tunes on MySpace, which I thought were tremendous. We played the single last time I was here, which was great. It immediately caught my attention. I get a lot of singles every week, and it was really great. And a lot of the sort of stuff I've been reading about is sort of comparing it to kind of Kate Bush and Peter Gabriel and stuff like that, in terms of the kind of drumming sound, the production sound. Is that a comparison that you're happy with?
Well, yeah, we wrote a press release, so...
Right,
it's,
so you just basically said you likened yourself to some of your heroes.
Yeah, it's the easiest thing to do, really.
Why not? That's perfect. Yeah.
Rather than pretend you're totally original, we just rip these people off and
Sure.
did something with it.
Now,
yeah.
obviously it's a bit more of a stripped down sound today, so I guess there'll be no kind of big Phil Collins style drumming,
No.
sadly, but they can get that on the album should they wish to buy it.
Yeah. It's there. It's all there.
How much else then of the press release that you wrote is true? So it says, for instance, that you wrote the whole album in a week.
It's not necessarily, not all true.
Right. Well, what bit of it is not true? Because that's really only one
sentence.
claim.
Yeah.
Right, so that sentence is false. So you didn't write the whole album in a week after you threw your TV set out?
I didn't throw it out. I moved into a different flat and there wasn't one there.
Right, okay. Right.
But that, it didn't really
Okay, I'm just
read
putting
very
a
well on the
big
press
line
release.
through that, and I'm just writing the word liar next to it.
Yeah.
So, but you don't have a TV?
No.
But this is not some big statement like a lot of sort of artsy people. Oh, I'm not going to watch TV. There's nothing good on TV. There is good stuff on TV. There's good sitcoms I could name.
There are loads of things out there, but I would never get any work done if I had a television.
So the other claim then that that the album is sort of loosely inspired by the work of Paul Auster, is that?
That's
not
true.
That is true.
That's true, yeah.
So aside from the musicians we've mentioned, you've also stolen the sort of the style of Paul Auster's.
Yeah,
artwork.
I mean, there's loads of things,
Right.
But, most good pop music is probably
Ripped from somewhere.
Yeah.
From somewhere. What about your music is original?
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay.
at all.
Listen, that's very honest of you. But let's hear a tune so that we can assess for ourselves if there's anything fresh about it. Because as I say, I thought the single was tremendous. So you're going to play the single?
One of them.
One of the first single.
Oh, okay.
Was that the second single? I can't remember now. To be honest.
Just play some goddamn music, boys.
No, wait a minute.
Fantastic, guys. Sounded absolutely magnificent, particularly listening on the headphones, so people at home would have had an absolute treat there. I'm a bit torn now, because I don't know if I prefer that stripped-down version to the album version.
No, surely not.
Well, I don't know.
We spent
I mean,
ages on the album version, and we just knocked this up in a couple of minutes.
Well,
Can't you tell?
I'll be honest, you may have wasted your time because it sounded fantastic, and I would be quite frustrated if I was listening not being able to get that available. Maybe you'd like to put that out on an exclusive EP, and maybe we get a cut of the proceeds. I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
What a great idea. We're always after B-sides.
Yeah.
Perfect. You should definitely whack that on, or at least do a version of it, because it sounds tremendous. Really, it sounds great, and it also gives us a chance to kind of really focus in on the lyrics as well. Which the album, there's so much going on, but I thought it was tremendous. And were you whinging in that song about queuing at airports?
No, it's the metro system between the Newcastle Airport and Sunderland.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I'm wondering about it.
Well, maybe if you sprang for an upgrade, you would get the VIP car that takes you straight there. You wouldn't have to go straight to the VIP lounge. You wouldn't be
I
whinging.
can't afford that sort of thing.
Well, maybe if we shift a couple of albums, it's all going to change.
See what we can do. Yeah.
Third album in, you're just going to be, the VIP lounge. I don't like the free wine. It's going to be a whole new perspective. Now, listen, we have a series of questions that we sometimes ask, just to sort of get under the skin of our guests. Guys, would you be happy to divvy them up?
Yes, of course, yeah.
So, we'll start with you, Peter. First question: what advice would you give to your teenage self?
Get your hair cut.
That's the best you could offer. And was it particularly weird, your hair as a
It's the
teenager?
same as it is now, so...
It's the same advice you'd give yourself now, or now you're happy with it?
No, I still wake up every morning, look at myself in the mirror and think, get your hair cut.
If only you'd made the break earlier on.
I know, and I've just got used to it.
You're
now.
stuck with it now. David, what would you ban?
What would I ban? Nothing. I'm a libertarian. I think that everybody should be allowed to do whatever they want.
What? Even terrorists?
If they want to do it that much, wow. That's terrible. That just means they're bad people. But
It is terrible. That's one of the reasons they're called terrorists. Wow, I don't know if it is. I'm not sure where the word's derived from. I've embarrassed myself. Back to you, Pete. This is going to be dynamite. If you could jump into any film and live the film that you've jumped into, what film would it be? This is always revealing.
God, I don't know, something with puppets in, like the last crystal.
Something with puppets
The last
in.
crystal or something, or no, not the dark crystal.
We've
Yeah,
had that before. Have we had that as an answer before?
yeah, or labyrinth or something.
I think someone mentioned that before. Isn't
Oh,
it
right,
strange
right,
that
yeah.
musicians particularly respond to puppetry?
It's just they live in a
In a
fantasy world. Yeah,
Oh,
basically,
bless him. And you'd like to apologise for? Is it the terrorists comment?
yeah, the libertarian comment was naive.
It was naive. All right, listen. You'll play another tune for us.
Yeah.
Which one is this?
It's called Learn to Learn.
Thank you. That was the week that was. That's inevitable. I was going to say that. And the album is eponymously titled. Is that right? Is it just called The Week That Was?
Yes. Yeah.
And it's in shops now.
Yes.
It's also available, presumably, on any kind of download of that. But you are going on tour, and you will be in Newcastle. You'll be in Carlisle, Glasgow, Birmingham, Sheffield, Galway, Dublin, Cardiff, Oxford, Sunderland, and London throughout October and the early beginning of November. I'm sure there's probably a website. Is there? People can get more information.
There's either www.
It's on the MySpace.
Yeah, it's on the
we
MySpace.
do use MySpace.
Okay, all right. So just type in The Week That Was into one of your search engines. I'm sure they'll find the info on there.
Yeah, I think it generally comes up with David Frost.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe you should go to a specific website then. I wish I had the email address or the web address, but I don't.
MySpace.com/the week that was.
Perfect. Thank you very much indeed. Round of applause for that. He knew it off the top of his head. Who knew? Who thought a musician would actually be up on technology? But he is. And is there a full band when you do the live show?
It's fuller than this. So yes.
There's not 9 people in it like there is on the front cover of the album.
Right.
That was just a joke.
But there's
Not a
kind
really
of
good joke, but it's.
But there's percussion and there's all the rest of it.
Yeah. There's the fullish shebang. Yeah.
Great, brilliant. All right, well, listen, it's definitely worth checking out the album. Thank you so much for coming in, guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
BBC Six Music.
And suddenly I see you.
If I need to tell you who that was, you should not be listening to Six Music. Steve Show, Six Music, with me, Steve Rich, and my little gang here. And if you've only just tuned in, maybe you are not familiar with the programme, then towards the end of every show, we delve into the pigeonhole, listen to 3 big new releases. Gives us a chance to check them out, and maybe you as well if you've not heard them yet. And I'm excited to announce that the first new tune up this week for your appraisal is the return of AC/DC.
Oh.
I don't know whether that's a good thing for you, Dan, or a bad thing. You'll tell me after you've heard Rock and Roll Train. From their new album, which is the first in 8 years, that's AC/DC and Rock and Roll Train. Dan, AC/DC have been around a long time. First album was back in 1975. Have they changed much musically, do you
Yeah,
feel?
that is a real leap forward in their
Yeah.
sound. Yeah. It was like a different No, it wasn't, was it? It wasn't. That could have been any AC/DC track from any album ever. Are you asking me whether or not I thought it was any good?
I think I probably am.
Yeah, I've sort of flip-flopped, because we've had bands sort of coming back after hiatuses, or hiati,
Sure.
before, and I remember James, we did a James track,
You're right,
that sounded
yeah.
just like they did, and I gave him a thumbs up, and then we did a Cure track once, and I gave that a thumbs down, so I'm a bit of a flip-flopper anyway.
Sure.
But with AC/DC, it just feels that that's what they've always done. It would be ridiculous if they did something else, so I'm quite pleased to hear that they're still alive and still doing that thing. It makes me feel not quite so old. But I will never ever buy it.
No.
I'm just pleased it's there.
But are you the sort of person who would have enjoyed AC/DC in the past?
If I was at a party and in a bit of a rocking mood, it would be one of the more agreeable heavy rock sounds to the Dan ears. But it's not really my home ground, the old world of heavy metal. I'm
No.
a little bit at sea.
You are a man, of course, who still wears shorts.
Yep.
For you, of course, they're like long trousers,
Well, yeah,
as we know. Sammy, do you feel that men who must be, I don't know what they are now, they must be approaching their 50s and 60s.
Easily.
They're still wearing shorts when they appear on stage. Is it time to maybe get some long trousers?
No, I quite like the shorts look. If it's something you've rocked for all this time, keep on going with it. My dad still has a ponytail and he looks gorgeous, so I wouldn't want him to cut his hair off, and I feel exactly the same about dressing up like a schoolboy. I quite enjoyed that. I've always liked AC/DC, and it wasn't anything out the ordinary, but you don't want them to be out the ordinary, you want them to be AC/DC. With other bands, you want them to move forward. But I think you're allowed to flip-flop in this instance, Dan.
Thank
That's
you.
acceptable.
Thank you.
All right, so we're giving the thumbs up to AC/DC.
we are, yeah.
I don't think any of us were expecting that.
No.
This one may divide both the panel and audiences at home. It's a new release from Dido.
Nothing's real for me.
I like to keep you fully abreast of all the big new tunes. There's none bigger, surely, than Dido. Isn't she probably the most successful and talented female musician ever in the history of all things? I think certainly the stats would prove it. And that's a new single from Dido, Don't Believe in Love, which is available as a download on the 26th of October. I'm sure there's lots of Six Music listeners who are up in arms that we would spin a Dido tune. But lest we forget, she once was super credible when she teamed up with Eminem. Well, you're turning your nose up. Even in those days, you weren't a fan.
But she didn't team up with them, they sampled her.
She was in the video.
Well, yeah.
All right, you've embarrassed yourself. So Dido, where does she sit amongst the minds of young people like yourself?
She's nowhere near my mind. I don't want to let her in. I'm not a fan. I didn't like that. I don't like her. I barely like the work she did with Slim Shady. So,
Wow, you've got barely anything to say. You're so contemptuous.
it really didn't move me at all. I was hoping it might. I was hoping for something special, because she has got quite a nice voice. She's got quite an interesting voice.